Module 3, Lesson 4's objective is to count up to 1,000 on the place value chart. Question 4 asks us to analyze the number 585. How many hundreds, tens, and ones does it have? It's important to note that the students should be circling the question so that they remember to answer the question that is being asked of them. How many hundreds, tens, and ones does it have? Looking at the problem, you can see some lines below. They are labeled ones, tens, and hundreds. Unfortunately, they are labeled in the wrong order. Students should use a place value chart in order to help them analyze the number 585. Drawing this out is very beneficial, and then labeling the columns in the correct order. First we have the ones column, then we have the tens column, then we have the hundreds column. Then we should write the number 585 in the place value chart. After doing so, we'll put those numbers on the correct lines. Looking at the chart, I can see that there are 5 in the ones place, so I'll put a 5 on the ones line. There are 8 in the tens place, so I'll put an 8 in the tens on the tens line. And then there are 5 in the hundreds place, so I'll put a 5 on the hundreds line. It just so happens that the number looks exactly the same, and it would often be very confusing if you just put down the numbers on the lines without drawing and labeling the columns, because not all numbers will come out looking exactly the same. So make sure you have your student draw the chart, label the chart, then place the numbers in the chart, and finally figure out which numbers go on each line. For problem 5, we're going to do it much the same way. It says make the number sentence true. 12 ones is the same as blank 10 and blank ones. So have your student draw the place value chart. Label it ones, tens. Then place these numbers in the place value chart. Remember, only one digit goes in each column. A digit is a number. So you place the number 12 with the numbers in the correct columns. Then figure out which numbers in the ones column and which numbers in the tens column, and write them on the lines. Question 6 says, show a way to count from 170 to 410 using tens and hundreds. Circle at least one benchmark number. This skill was learned in Lesson 3. It's important for us to underline the important details. So, counting from 170 to 410, that's an important detail. Using tens and hundreds is another important detail. And then circling at least one benchmark number is another important detail in the directions. That's why those have been underlined. Question 6 asks us to start with the number 170, so I'll write that first and put a comma. We put commas in between our numbers because we're making a list. If I want to get to 410 using tens and hundreds, it would be best if I use tens first until I get to a number that I would say when I'm counting by hundreds. So 170, 180, comma, 190, comma, 200. Now 200 I'm going to circle because that's a benchmark number. The reason it's a benchmark number is because This is where I'm going to stop counting by tens and begin counting by hundreds, because it would be easier for me to begin counting by hundreds here. It would take me less time to count to 410 in this way. So if I'm counting by hundreds, what number comes next? Write it there. Don't forget your comma. And if I'm counting by hundreds still, what number would come after that one? Write it there. Don't forget your comma. And lastly, let's list 410. Because that's where the directions say we should stop. 170, 180, 190, 200. Jump to counting by hundreds. After 200 comes blank. After that number comes another number. And again, then we will start counting by tens. Because we changed from counting by hundreds to tens, this number is also a benchmark number, so I will circle it. In question 7, it says, Mrs. Sullivan's students are collecting cans for recycling. Frederick collected 20 cans, Danielle collected 9 cans, and Mina and Charlie each collected 100 cans. How many cans did the students collect in all? Now I need to reread it and use my close reading skills to find the important details. Mrs. Sullivan's students are collecting cans for recycling. That sentence doesn't tell me anything that I need in order to solve the problem, so I won't underline anything. Frederick collected 20 cans. That's important, so I better underline it. Danielle collected 9 cans. That's important too, so I better underline it. Mina and Charlie each collected 100 cans, so I better underline that one too. But I see another word that's in that section of the sentence that's super important, and that's the word each. So I think I better circle that to remind me that they each collected 100 cans. How many cans did the students collect in all? I'll circle that because it helps me remember to answer the question being asked. So now what do I have to do? Well, if I'm looking for how many they collected in all, that means if I take the cans that each person collected and I pile them in a big pile, how many are there in all together? If I'm doing that, each person is adding their cans to the pile. Therefore, I will use addition. First, I'll put down 20 for the number that Frederick collected. And I will add 9 for the number that Danielle collected and added to the pile. I will add 100 for the number that Mina collected and added to the pile. And I have to add another 100 for the 100 that Charlie collected and added to the pile. Now I say to myself, how many cans did the students collect in all? Right away, I see an easy way to solve this problem. I could take these two hundreds together and add them. 100 and 100 is 200. I'll bring down that addition sign. And now look at there, 20 and 9. That's easy to add together, so I'll write 29. So what's 29 plus 200 more? You write the answer right here. We're not done yet, though. We have to answer the question in a sentence. We always read, draw, write. So let's go ahead and write. How many cans did the students collect in all? The students collected blank cans in all. Whatever number you wrote in this box is the same number you write in this box. Don't forget to use your very best printing. Remember a capital at the beginning of the sentence and a period at the end.